Welcome to First Things First. Will Luka finish with a better career than his Mavs mentor, Dirk? Who should Patriots fans want under center, Cam Newton or Mac Jones? And is Jordan Love ready to prove he is Aaron Rodgers' heir apparent? Good morning. Welcome to First Things First. Joy Taylor alongside LeVar Arrington and Chris Broussard. Good morning, guys. We are filling in all week. Good to see you. LeVar, I think we can call this Chapter 2 of the love story because we start in Los Angeles. Yesterday, Russell Westbrook was introduced as a Laker. The blockbuster trade on draft day brought Russ home to LA to form a big three with Braun and the Brow. And now Russ says the focus shifts to one thing, a title. Let's take a listen.
Surreal. I think it still hasn't kind of hit me yet that being from LA, growing up, not too far from here, being able to watch the parades, try to go to them, miss school to try to go to them, being a Laker fan and being from LA, but now everything coming full circle for me is it's a blessing. Each year I try to find ways, like Rob mentioned, to be able to uplift and make my teammates better around me. And AD and Brian are friends of mine first. And me being their teammate, my job is to come in and uplift them. And they do the same with me, vice versa. And as the season prolongs, we will figure it out. There will be ups, there will be downs, and that's normal. That's okay. But we will figure out how to play the best way that we want to play to be able to win a championship.
Chris, how do you see the Lakers' big three working together to win a title?
Well, clearly they don't know. That was one of my biggest takeaways from yesterday is that they haven't sat down and mapped out a game plan. All right, we all heard about and read about, 3-4 weeks ago, the big three met at LeBron's house and talked it out. But from what I heard yesterday, it sounds like that was a brief conversation, that there wasn't much time spent on how we going to make this work. It was like LeBron was like, yo, I'll play power forward. And AD was like, yo, I'll play center. Cool, let's do it. Like that was it. Because not Frank Vogel or Westbrook, neither of them had the strategy laid out. And you know what? That's fine. Because they still have plenty of time to work it out, obviously. The Lakers clearly took the approach of, let's get the talent. Let's go get championship talent, and then we'll figure the rest out. Okay? And that's a legitimate school of thought in the NBA. Go get the talent, even if it's not the perfect fit, and then you can work things out. That's certainly better than not having the championship level talent at all. As far as how I see it working, I would like to see, and I've said it before, I'd like to see LeBron take the Magic Johnson approach and say, I'm going to be the full-time point guard, and I'm going to be the third scoring option. Doesn't mean he'll be the third leading scorer, but that his mindset is let me get AD fed. Let me get Russ fed, and obviously the shooters around them, because LeBron will get his 20-plus points just by playing 30 minutes. I mean, that's how good he is. So I think it'd be better suited for that style and get Russ moving off the ball. I think he could be great. I think, though, that the way they'll do it is that LeBron and Russ will share the ball handling and playmaking duties. Basically like LeBron's done for most of his career with Kyrie, with Dwayne Wade at times, even last year with Dennis Schroeder. And when Russ is on the ball, I think LeBron will be at that elbow where he can get it and make plays from there, or in the post. I'd like to see him in the post if he really wants to go down there, because obviously he could beast people. So I think that's how they'll go. And then late in games, I think LeBron will be the primary ball handler and decision maker. And that could be tough late, because the defenses, if Russ is on that wing at a three-point line, the defense is going to be back in the paint, daring him to shoot. They'll all but have signs out there saying, Russ, shoot the ball. All right, and he's going to have to resist that temptation and drive into the paint, or at least into a mid-range jump shot. But that could clog the lane up not only for him, but for LeBron and AD as well. So that's something they're going to have to figure out. But I think, even though I like to see LeBron full-time point, I think they're going to share the ball handling duties.
You know, Brew, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think you went a little bit detailed in terms of game planning and strategy. But I think just on the surface level, looking at these acquisitions that the Lakers have had this offseason, you got to believe that Russell is being brought in as the fire plug, as the Energizer Bunny, so to speak. He's gonna create tempo. And I said this in shows prior to this with you as well. They're going to ride Russ. They're going to ride him in the regular season. He is the shoulders that they're going to jump on and they're going to ride during the regular season. Russ has proven to be a phenomenal basketball player and leader in the regular season. Not to say that he's not that guy in the postseason, but you have other guys that, you know, LeBron, and he'll be able to handle the leadership duties once Russ pulls them into the next chapter of the season. So when I look at what they're looking at Russell Westbrook for just on surface level, before you even get to the point of how exactly is it going to work schematically in terms of X's and O's, I think that they're looking at the energy factor, the energy source of what Russ brings to the table. It's also a toughness. I don't think that this Lakers team, if we're looking at this Lakers team this past year, who emerged as the guy that's like tough? Like, who's the tough guy? Right? We thought it might have been Harrell, right? But it wasn't. Like, he fizzled out and he disappeared. So that mentality of who's going to come in and who's going to be tough for this team, who's going to have a chip on their shoulder, who's going to push them along, that's going to be Russ. I think Russ is going to be the energy source for these guys while the older guys are able to ride that wave all the way up into the playoffs and see where it goes from there, Joy.
I agree with you on the energy during the regular season. I think Russ will be huge for them for that. But I think that the championship hopes of the Los Angeles Lakers rest solely on the very broad shoulders of Anthony Davis. We can talk all we want about how Russell Westbrook is going to fit into this and how LeBron's going to come back in his 19th season, not including all of the extra seasons that he has compiled in his playoff career. But this is on Anthony Davis. Like, if Anthony Davis isn't healthy, this is going to be a great story that we're going to talk a lot about because it's LeBron, Westbrook, and AD and the Lakers. But if he is not healthy in the postseason, thank you for coming, Los Angeles Laker fans. We will be watching the championship from home. That's just how it goes. Anthony Davis is the key to this. We saw what happened in the bubble when Anthony Davis was healthy. Now, the situation in the bubble was very unique in that they had those months off. So it's not like he was coming back from an injury. They were off and then came back fully healthy, him and LeBron. But to me, Anthony Davis is the key to all this. I think how Russell Westbrook will fit in schematically at the end of games, all of that will be sorted out through the season. It'll probably be bumpy in the beginning, as it generally is when you bring in new high-caliber players. They're going to figure out the formula and the chemistry. They haven't played together. There's going to be some questions. Is it going to work? By the end of the season, they'll figure it out because LeBron James always finds a way to do that. And I also believe that Russell Westbrook will make an effort to adjust his game to fit into this team's chemistry and what they have going on. Similar to what Harden did in Brooklyn. None of us thought that we were going to see Harden in Brooklyn the way that we did during the regular season. He made a change and it worked. And had they all been healthy, we might be having a different conversation about the NBA entirely. That's a different story. I think Westbrook has that capacity as well. But I'm not looking at Westbrook and I'm not looking at LeBron. I know what Westbrook brings from an energy level during the regular season, to LeVar's point. I know what LeBron's going to bring every single year. Anthony Davis is the question to me.
No doubt, Joy. I mean, he not only has to be healthy, though, he has to return to the form that he displayed 2 years ago in the bubble. All right, last year he wasn't good. I mean, yeah, he was an all-star caliber player, but for his standards, I expected him to take that championship swagger and go to another level, make it his team, and be in the MVP conversation. That's the Anthony Davis that they need to return. He should be the leading scorer. He should be getting them like at least 26 points a game and 10 rebounds a game. If he's that Anthony Davis and he's healthy, then yes, the rest of the West and league, period, needs to be wary or leery of these Lakers. Now, I want to address this quickly, LeVar, what you said, because I agree wholeheartedly. LeBron, you look at when he's won his titles, he's had a dog with him. All right? D-Wade was that dog, that guy that'll just go get it when you need a bucket, right? Kyrie was that dog. And even in L.A., I would say in the bubble, even though he wasn't in his prime or a star anymore, Rajon Rondo is that dog. And last year, AD is great. He ain't that dog, though. And LeBron recognizes, I need a dog. And Westbrook is that guy. So I think that went a lot into his thinking of why he wanted Westbrook as well.
Yeah, I think they were hoping that Schroeder. I'm sorry, Joy. I'm thinking they were hoping Schroeder would be that guy. You know, but he turned out to not be that guy, and Magic Johnson made it very clear that he was not of the Lakers standard or caliber. So I think that that's what they were looking for in Schroeder, to be that very thing that they're looking to get out of Russ, Joy.
Yeah, they're definitely going to get that dog out of Russ for sure. To the NFL now, do Amari, CeeDee, and Gallup hold the crown as the most explosive receiving group in the league? We'll discuss that next. This is First Things First.
All right, we're talking Cowboys. Amari Cooper off the PUP list finally and back at practice. He joined CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup to form one of the best trios in the league. Joy, are you in or out on the Cowboys having the best receiving core in the NFL?
Don't be mad at me, Cowboys fans. I'm out, but not a lot. Just a little bit out, just right outside. I'm going to have to go with the Buccaneers. They are pretty loaded. Godwin, Evans, AB, Gronk, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate, pretty strong. But another part of this is who is throwing to them, and that's the GOAT. Now, you know I love Dak Prescott, but going into this season, he is currently injured. I want to see what happens going into the season, how he comes back off that ankle injury. I think he's going to be great, but right now I've got to give the edge to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Pro Football Focus has them ranked number 1, Dallas Cowboys 2, Kansas City Chiefs 3. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Joy, I'm with you. I'm out on this. And like you said, I mean, Dallas, you can put them second, you can put them third. They're up there, but you got to go with Tampa Bay. You didn't even mention Gronk, Joy. Or even Scotty Miller, the burner, you know, Tyler Johnson, the 5th receiver on that team who really had a nice little rookie season. And even if Dak is healthy, he's not going to be Tom Brady, assuming Father Time doesn't put Brady in a chokehold. I'm looking for a big year from Antonio Brown. All right, we haven't heard any negative things about him. He seems to be on his best behavior. He's going to have a full season with the Buccaneers. And remember, he is playing to secure the bag at some point in the future. He left a lot of money on the table with all of that crazy behavior a few years ago. Now the bag is in his sights. I think AB is going to be fantastic, LeVar.
I'm not out. I'm just not in. So I don't know how that works out. Listen, we all know that Tampa Bay is the best receiving core in pro football right now. But I'll give you guys another one. Like Pro Football Focus, I get it. Great people do great work, use the data and all that. All right. Cleveland. Go look at Cleveland. Talent-wise, I don't know that anybody has more talent on their roster at the receiver's position than Cleveland does. You get Odell back. You got Juice Landry on that team. You got Higgins. You got Rashard Higgins. You have a few guys. Donovan Peoples-Jones is on that team. Anthony Schwartz, watch for him because he's one of those guys. He can play. He's coming into his own. He's a burner. They have a ton of depth at that position. And listen, we're saying receivers. If I'm going to who's throwing the ball, of course we need to see, you know, Baker take that next step into, is he going to be that bona fide franchise quarterback? But don't sleep on the talent and the playmaking ability of what the Cleveland Browns have. Now, with that being said, when you look at this Dallas receiving core, I think that they are right there with the Cleveland Browns in terms of what their potential is and what they can get done. Amari Cooper has proven to be that guy, but he fights injuries at times. We still don't know what CeeDee Lamb is going to be. We know that he is a budding star in this league. He had a great year last year as a rookie, but we still have to wait and see what he is going to end up being. And then you got, obviously, who's my third receiver? What's the third receiver? I'm for Gallup. You got Gallup out there. And Gallup has been the Alvin Hartford to Amari Cooper being the Michael Irving of this receiving corps. Sorry, Gallup, that I blanked on your name for 2 seconds. But yeah, I think that this is a really, really fine receiving corps. And based off of potential, they should be in the conversation. But I still think we got to wait and see a little bit more in terms of if we're going to crown them best in the league. So that's why I'm not in, but I'm not all the way out either.
No, but that, LeVar, officially that's an out. Officially that's an out. All right.
Well,
we're going to stay in Dallas, though. Let's move over to the association. Fresh off Luka's Supermax extension, Mavericks owner Mark Cuban said they want Luka to, quote, have the same type of Hall of Fame career, if not more, than Dirk Nowitzki. So, Joy, are you in or out on Luka finishing with a better career than Dirk?
Yes, I'm in. Dirk has said that Luka is better than him already. Dirk had an incredible career. It doesn't take anything away from Dirk to say that Luka is better right now in his career than Dirk was at this point. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. Through Luka's first 3 seasons, he's averaging 25.7 points per game, 8.4 rebounds per game, 7.7 assists per game. Now, I know the game has changed a little bit. It is a little bit more offensively favored than when Dirk came into the league, averaging 17 points per game through his first 3 seasons. But we know what Luka is. I mean, Luka is a budding superstar. If he's not a bona fide superstar already, I don't want to anoint him that without, getting through the playoffs a little bit more. Don't want to jump the gun too much, but he is getting $200 million for a reason. He's a star. We know what his European career accomplishments are, but he's already a 2-time NBA All-Star, 2-time All-NBA First Team, Rookie of the Year, NBA All-Rookie First Team. Dirk had a legendary Hall of Fame career, of course, and is an NBA champion and an NBA Finals MVP. But if the Mavericks make it to an NBA championship and win, we can assume that it's going to be on the back of Luka Doncic. I think that he has the potential to definitely win a championship, if not multiple championships. He's on a Hall of Fame projection already. Don't think that's premature to say either. He's going to continue evolving in this game. Whether or not he's going to have the career that Dirk had rests solely at the feet of the Dallas Mavericks, because we know what Luka has the potential to do already and how his game is already improving. So this is really on the Mavericks if they want him to have a better career than Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah, I'm with you, Joy. I am so in on this. All right, Luka's the man, and this to take nothing away from Dirk. Dirk is one of the greatest players we've ever seen. Dirk will get some credit for changing the game, right? He was one of those first bigs, 7-footers to play out on the perimeter, and he has one of the greatest championships we can think of, right? He beat the Big 3 in Miami without a second star. Jason Kidd was old and a role player by that time. So Dirk had a fabulous career, but Luka's better. Luka is the elite of the elite. All right, and some of this is because back in the day, guys entered the league older, right? But you can make an argument that at 20, 21, 22 years old, we haven't seen many better than Luka. All right, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Magic Johnson. Luka's done a lot of what those guys have done. And you brought up his regular season stats, Joy. In the playoffs, it's 33 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds a game. And remember, all 13 of his playoff games have been against the Clippers. So he's put up those numbers against Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. This dude's the truth and still got room to grow. Got to improve as a free throw shooter. Got to improve as a three-point shooter. Once he does those things, watch out. Obviously, he's got to win a title in Dallas to have the career that Dirk does. If he is better individually but never wins a ring, you're probably going to give the edge to Dirk. But if he gets one ring, it's not going to be close. And I think he can get more rings, LeVar. So I'm totally in on Luka.
I mean, listen, I hate to rain on the parade here and bring a bucket of water and pour it on y'all's fire for this Luka guy, but I am. Listen, all the potential is great, but I'm out, and for the simple fact that dope players can be dope players. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to have the better career. You know what I mean? Like it's great that he's accomplishing what he's accomplishing. It's great that he's got the type of stat line that he has. That's wonderful. And when you're Dirk Nowitzki, you can say he's better than me. You know why? Because you've already done it. I mean, I wasn't the greatest in the NFL, but I'll say this. I always say that the guys that wear 11 or play linebacker at Penn State are better than me. That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't carry any weight. It means that I believe in the guy, and he's a guy that I'm related to by our teams. And that means a lot to me in that regard. But it doesn't really mean that the guy's better than you because you said they're better. Like, to me, he has a whole lot to do, a whole lot to prove. And Joy, you hit it on the head. It might have more to do with what others do rather than what he does. Because you could look at somebody and say, if they don't have the type of career, I'll take it to football, they don't have the type of career that Barry Sanders had, you're not going to sit there and put him in the greats of the greats if they don't win a championship. You'll look at Barry and qualify it, but is Luka going to be able to do enough that if they don't happen to get what they need to be able to win a championship title in Dallas, that we're going to put him on the level of being one of the greatest ever in terms of being better than Dirk for that organization? I think that there's a lot that has to be defined before we go down that road.
Very interesting stuff, LeVar. I'll keep that in mind next time you sing the praises of Micah Parsons. All right, back talking the pack. Will Jordan Love prove this preseason that he is Aaron Rodgers' heir apparent? Find out next on First Things First.
Back talking the Packers' plan for the preseason opener. Head coach Matt LaFleur said yesterday it'll be Jordan Love playing the majority of the game Saturday against the Texans. LaFleur also said Aaron Rodgers, he's unlikely to play at all in the preseason. So, Chris, can Jordan Love still be a part of the Packers' future, or is he just going to be a part of the Packers' past?
Oh, no, absolutely he can be a part of their future. Look, the fact is we have no idea what Aaron Rodgers is going to do after this season. You know, I get that, he's, happy now, it seems. All right, he's going to play through the season. But we don't know if he's going to want to trade or not once this year is over. And, of course, Green Bay doesn't have to trade him even if he wants out. But supposedly they have this gentleman's agreement, right? That if he wants to be moved still, they will move him. And I don't think we will know based on what happens this season unless Rodgers just comes out and says, you know what, things have been straightened out and I want to be a Packer for the rest of my career now, which I don't expect him to say. He could win the Super Bowl, LeVar, and still want out. I mean, that actually is about the best way you could leave Green Bay. If he won the Super Bowl, you talk about sticking it to Goody, Brian Gutekunst, the GM. You go win a Super Bowl this year and then drop the mic and say, I still don't like the way they run things. Go win it with Jordan Love now, Goody. Like, he would have one more ring than Brett Favre had in Green Bay. I mean, that would be a real gangster move if Aaron Rodgers wanted to do that. So, and he may decide to stay. So we just don't know. I think it's a good situation for Green Bay in the preseason because you can see what Jordan Love can do. It will not hurt him to sit another year behind Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers, I get it. It was different back in the day. But Rodgers sat 3 years. All right? Other quarterbacks have done the same, 2-3 years behind us. Or Jimmy Garoppolo sat 3 years behind Tom Brady. So there's nothing wrong with learning at the feet of an all-time great. That could actually help Jordan Love. So, Joy, I think he still could very much be a part of the Packers' future.
He better be a part of the Packers' future. What'd they trade up in the first round to get him for if he's not? First of all, Aaron Rodgers is not going to be in Green Bay next year. All this drama is not so that he could just ride off into the sunset with the Green Bay Packers. This is a whole Band-Aid situation. As I've said many times, kids in the senior year of high school, let's just stick together, keep the family together so he has a nice childhood, and when he gets off to college, we out of here. This is over at the end of the season for the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. They traded up to get Jordan Love for a reason. He's the future of the franchise. We haven't seen anything from Jordan Love yet to evaluate him, so what is his trade value at this point? We don't know what he is. We have no idea what Jordan Love is. So the trade situation is a ghost at this point. Now, after the preseason, how he performs, we might have more to evaluate him on, although I don't know how much you can put in preseason performance. It is something, but I don't know that it's a full evaluation of what Jordan Love is capable of. But yeah, he's the future of the Green Bay Packers. Otherwise, what did you trade up in the first round in the draft to take him and not even bother to let Aaron Rodgers know, therefore creating a firestorm offseason of drama for your organization? Yeah, he's the future of the franchise, or you better hope he's the future of the franchise, because Aaron Rodgers is not going to be there next year.
Yeah, I like the way you finished it off, Joy. They better hope he's the future of this franchise, doing what they did and being where they're at with Aaron Rodgers. Like, I still think that this is just a strategic strategy from Aaron Rodgers. Honestly to speak, can Jordan Love still be a part of this team moving into the future? Yes, and it will rely on him playing well in the preseason. Every snap he gets, every rep he takes is one that matters. It's one that counts. He doesn't get restful, peaceful, oh, it's the preseason, this doesn't count type of snaps. He doesn't get them. He doesn't have the luxury of doing that, where everything stands with this organization being seemingly at odds with Aaron Rodgers. This is a masterful play by Rodgers, if you ask me. He's probably not wanting to play in the preseason. They're going to give Jordan Love every opportunity to establish himself as someone that should be in the conversation of being the future for this franchise. It has not been discussed. We have not heard from Love, which I think is a good thing. Love just needs to be quiet, because if he says or does the wrong thing, it could detonate a whole nother landmine, a whole landfill that they don't need to deal with. It's been quiet. It's seemingly quiet. And so now Jordan Love has the opportunity to take his snaps and show why they took him where they did and why it's created all this fuss. Or it plays into Aaron Rodgers' hands, where he doesn't perform at a high level, or he doesn't make the type of impact where you look at him and you say, this is the guy of the future. There's a lot of pressure on Jordan Love right now because, as you mentioned, Joy, we don't know what he is. We don't know what his trade value is. We don't know where this is going with Jordan Love. So he could either be that guy that they took, moved up, and put their money into him, and now you're seeing why. Or he could be that guy where you're like, well, they made a mistake. Aaron Rodgers is showing and proving that they're going to need him. And now that turns the conversation into a totally different conversation, whether Aaron wants to stay or whether he wants to leave, whether it's a breakup and a divorce, or whether it's we work it out and we reconcile. Whichever it is, if Jordan Love does not play at a high level, Chris, you are now talking about all of the decision-making ability and power is in Aaron Rodgers' hands.
Yeah, no doubt. And Joy, I get where you're coming from with Aaron Rodgers being out of there. It certainly looks that way. But if I'm Green Bay, I'm not giving up. I'm looking at it like I have an entire season to make things right. All right, they're going to be good. We know they're going to win games, get to the playoffs, and we'll see what happens from there. But all year long, I am working to rebuild this relationship with Aaron Rodgers to the point where he would want to stay. That's what I'm doing. Hey, look, Gutekunst, I mean, if it's donuts at his locker every morning, whatever. All right, but you've got to make things right with Aaron Rodgers. Listen to his thoughts on personnel and really try to, smooth this relationship over, because what if Jordan Love really doesn't look good? What if he doesn't play well in the preseason? What if he doesn't show you anything in practice when he's running for the second unit? And then okay, and he's not our quarterback. Whether Aaron's here or not, we're not winning with this dude. So they need to work things out with Aaron. And if Aaron wants to stay next year, and maybe, let's say he's going to do a Tom Brady and play into his mid-40s. and he's playing at a high level. We said yesterday, Brady went 9 years without a Super Bowl win. Okay, so what if Rodgers can lead them on a little streak of Super Bowls late in his career? Then I got to say peace to Jordan Love if Aaron Rodgers wants to stay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers wants to stay, but what did you go through all this trouble for? It's not like Jordan Love fell to you in the 4th round and Aaron Rodgers is throwing a fit. This was a significant move. Not to mention, that means you botched that draft. So that's all the more ammunition for Aaron Rodgers to say, I want out of here, because you don't know what you're doing. You didn't bother to let me know that you were drafting him. You allowed this to spiral. Over years and years, you've, at least according to Aaron Rodgers, treated veterans poorly on the way out. Now you want to backpedal, and you're like, well, actually, we messed it up. He's not that good, and we're not ready for the future, and we'd like you to stay. And sorry about all the offseason drama as well. Here's some donuts. This is a lot of work to repair this situation with Aaron Rodgers. As a petty person myself, you starting from ground zero, if I will allow it, which I, like, most of the time do not. So I'm not speaking for him. I don't know. Maybe it is fixable. It doesn't seem like it is. It seems like the purpose of that whole agreement before the season started to get him into training camp was to make sure that he had some power and control, which I feel like this is what it's been all about from the beginning, is that he doesn't feel like he has a voice. He doesn't feel like he has any power or control over his career. And he feels like he's earned that. And because it is Green Bay, who doesn't have an owner, it's a very unique organization in a very unique market. He has played the role of the company guy for a long time, and he's tired of doing that. And that's very obvious in how this is all played out. So, yeah, Jordan Love has to be good enough to replace Aaron Rodgers next year, or this situation could go from bad to worse for the Packers very quickly. And as much as we're talking about how, the Packers don't have to trade him, next year, they kind of do, because he can really put his foot down next year, especially with this agreement, and make things very, very messy for the Packers.
And the Queen of Petty has spoken. I hope y'all paying attention. Sticking with quarterbacks. Who should Pats fans want under center? Cam Newton or Mac Jones? We'll toss that around on the other side. This is First Things First.
Days before they clash for the Universal Championship, the head of the table, Roman Reigns, comes face-to-face with John Cena. Plus, how far will the mind games go with Seth Rollins and Edge? The summer of Cena continues. An all-new Friday Night SmackDown, live at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox.
Back here talking about the quarterback battle between Cam Newton and Mac Jones. It's reportedly growing closer as camp rolls on. They've been receiving nearly identical reps with the ones as the Pats prepare for the preseason opener tomorrow against Washington. So, LeVar, who should Pat fans want under center week 1, Cam or Mac Jones?
It's probably Cam listen, they want Mac Jones. That's their draft pick. I mean, you're going to want Mac Jones under center. But the best decision for the New England Patriots, I believe right now today, is Cam Newton. He's stability. That's someone who came in the wake of losing the greatest football player ever in the history of the game, and really up until he got COVID and had an ankle injury, was really doing an excellent job of leading this team. So there's been a lot of harsh criticisms lobbed towards Cam and what he can't do and how much does he have left in the tube, and you're squeezing out what's left. And listen, I think he has the mindset, he has the stability emotionally to be able to handle, and has shown he can handle, taking the leadership role at the helm of New England. It is a different task to come in and be, I can't even imagine what that pressure would be to come in and be the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots after post-Tom Brady era. So Cam is the guy. Maybe Mac Jones will end up being the guy, but for the meantime, right now, I think the best bet, the safe bet, and the fans should want the safe bet, would be Cam Newton, in my opinion, Chris.
Yeah, LeVar, I would be all in on Cam getting the job, at least thinking he's going to be the starter. But them splitting reps with the first team, I wonder about that. I mean, you know how important that is. You know that can usually foretell something. Cam, was only there one season last year. It's not like he doesn't need these reps, and yet they're splitting them with Mac Jones. So if I answer this question from a Patriots fan perspective, then I would rather see Mac Jones as a starter. Not because I know he's better, but because I trust in Bill Belichick. And if Belichick starts Mac Jones for game one, that means Mac Jones has won the job. He's beaten out a guy that Belichick likes in Cam Newton, fair and square. And we know that Belichick is not going to do what the contract says. He's not going to do what the fan base says. He's not going to do what the pundits say. He is going to do what he thinks is best for the team. We saw that 20 years ago when he didn't bring back Drew Bledsoe, the Pro Bowler, and he stuck with Tom Brady. All right? We saw that in Cleveland when he benched the beloved Bernie Kosar in Northeast Ohio and went with Vinny Testaverde. He will make the right decision on his quarterback. So if I'm a fan and I see Mac Jones, who they think is their future, trotted out for game one, then I rest assured and say, okay, he won it. Like Belichick sees something in this guy that means he can be the starting quarterback. And I just think I thought Cam was going to have a comeback season last year. I really did. But look, 32 years old, it sounds young, and it is young in football today for a quarterback. But Cam has taken a lot of hits. They treated him like he was a fullback, the referees. And he took a pounding, and I think that physical toll has made him older than his numerical age suggests. He's not throwing the football that well. Even those first three games, LeVar, they were 2-1, maybe could have been 3-0, close to being that. But he didn't throw it that well. 2 TDs, 2 picks, 170 yards or less in 2 of the 3 games, 8 touchdowns, 10 picks last year, 15 starts. So I just think that Cam, there's not another place in the league he'd be the starter. So I don't think Cam has that much left. And if they can get Mac Jones, if he beats him out now, then Pats fans should be happy with that.
You're right about the beloved Bernie Kosar, by the way. I think it should be Cam Newton. I think it should be Cam Newton, and there's multiple reasons for that. One, it's his second year in a Belichick system. He didn't have an offseason. He showed up late to the team last year and made what he made happen in a situation where he is replacing the guy. You never want to be the guy that's replacing the guy. Cam Newton is a completely different type of quarterback than Tom Brady. We didn't know what to expect. He didn't have a lot of offers out there at all. So it was a very questionable situation to begin with. He bought in, Belichick leaned in, and now it's a completely new season for Belichick and the Patriots. They're getting players back. They were aggressive in the offseason. Cam Newton's coming in healthy. It's his second year in the system. I think this is a good situation for the Patriots. If they can keep it together, they may be a playoff team. Mac Jones might be ready to start week one. If Belichick puts him out there, sure, he's ready to start week one. But I don't think he is. And if you're a Patriots fan, what do you want more? Do you want to win, or do you want to start the development of Mac Jones, which we don't know what he is yet? Now, we'll see him in the preseason. If he's lighting it up, he very well might win the job. But I think Cam Newton still has enough in him to make the Patriots competitive this year. And I think that it's a better situation for Cam Newton overall than it was last year. COVID derailed that season. They were 2-1 before he got sick. He admitted that coming back from COVID was difficult. That affected his play. So if I'm a Patriots fan, I want to win. That's what I'm used to doing. That's the lifestyle I'm accustomed to, and I would like to sustain that. And I think Cam Newton right now gives you the best chance to win, especially in this division.
All right, so I'm going to put this debate to bed. 336 games coached for the Patriots. 41 postseason games. Only 2 games has a rookie started. Same guy, Jimmy Garoppolo, started 2 games. That's like less than 1% in Bill Belichick's time coaching at New England. A rookie started 2 times. Let me make sure it's in the 2 times. 2 times. Okay? It ain't gonna happen. You should want Cam to play. You know why? because you don't want Bill Belichick to get out of character. The only 2 times that Garoppolo started was because they had no choice. It was an emergency situation. You're up, okay? 2 times. Let's go to break.
LeVar,
we're not going to break.
That was cute.
Let's stay here.
That's cute. All right, it's nice. It works with a camera. It's dramatic. But you're leaving out a key factor. Tom Brady. Why in the world would I start someone other than Tom Brady if I've got Tom Brady there? If they didn't have Tom Brady, maybe Belichick would have started a rookie several times. So that just kills that whole thing.
Chris, you made the discussion point that Tom Brady was kept in and he wrote with Tom Brady even when who was that came back?
Bledsoe.
Who was it?
Drew Bledsoe. Drew Bledsoe.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. What year was Tom in? Not his
second year.
Okay. All right.
He wasn't ready his first year. Bledsoe was a Pro Bowler.
Well, if Tom
Bledsoe
Brady
was like
wasn't
$100 million man.
If Tom Brady wasn't ready, then why would we think that any other quarterback in the history of our game is ready?
You know the answer to that. Brady was a late bloomer. You know that.
Manning. Is Mac
Brady
Jones
was a late bloomer.
Trevor Lawrence? Come on.
No, I tend to agree with you, LeVar. I don't think that Belichick is going to do this. I don't think he's going to pull the trigger on Mac Jones until he absolutely has to or until he's completely confident that Mac Jones is ready. Like I said, Patriots fans and Bill Belichick are used to winning. That's the lifestyle they're used to. Bill Belichick is not doing any kind of experimenting during the regular season to see if Mac Jones is the guy. And he wants to go into the season with his set leader. Unless Cam Newton gets injured or is playing absolutely terrible, I don't think we're going to see Mac Jones on the field at all this season. Great job today, guys. Good stuff. No hot dogs. Thanks for joining us.